I guess I want to just acknowledge you, really, because I just found that the comment that you put down on Paige's post was just really awe-inspiring, and that's what made me want to reach out and interview you. I've been interviewing women founders and VCs and angels about the shortfall in funding for women, and Adea Resi from thefunder.com made a really salient point. He said that the startup culture was actually created by men. And the only way that we're really going to encourage more women into being entrepreneurs and having startups and going for funding is actually to change the culture. And I just thought, wow, no one said that, but it's actually so the truth, because you have to be manic.
I'm going to make sure I read that.
Yeah, I'll actually send you the link. But it impressed a lot of us when I posted it, and I thought it was, really spot on, because, you have to be really insane to be an entrepreneur these days, really, the workload. So that's what really spoke to me, and I just wanted to read your comment just for people that possibly hadn't seen it. I know that what Paige said was a pregnant founder CEO is going to fail her company. That popped up in his head, and I'm glad he asked the specific question he did specifically. How in the hell is this founder going to lead a team, build a company and change the world for these businesses, carrying a kid around for the next few months and then caring for the kids after?
Yeah.
And your response, there's another aspect of all this conversation about a founder of a company to have the goal of achieving balance at all when in startup mode, and I'd like to address that too. Do I work long hours, weekends? Of course. Pull all-nighters when needed? Sure. But working until I fall asleep on my laptop and doing nothing else on a regular basis makes me less effective. Turns out that getting at least a little sleep, exercising regularly, having healthy relationships outside of work, spending time with my family, reading a book for fun now and then, etc., makes me a better founder and CEO. Hear, hear, that was brilliant. And the next paragraph I really loved was, in fact, this isn't just how I run my life, but it's how my co-founder Dana and I run our company. We created ProFounder with the intention of shaping a healthier and more efficacious culture.
No, I don't know how to feel efficacious.
Very good, thank you. Culture that gives everyone on our team the opportunity to be a full person, not just a cog in a machine. We not only encourage but celebrate each other's victories in and beyond work. At our last team retreat, we reported our proudest moments personally and professionally. On the personal side of things, every single individual shared some detail about how the most important relationships in their life had become better since they began working at ProFounder. Wow, that's such a great role model. This model is working. Business is thriving. We are flourishing, and we're trying to give every entrepreneur we work with through the ProFounder platform the same options for their own endeavours, starting with the chance to include investors who care about them as human beings, who are invested not just in their business but in them as people. And the last paragraph that really spoke out to me, I have no desire to fit that old stereotype. I desire to live a life that is rich in relationships both in and outside of work. I desire to reap the many different rewards that are abundant in my job, working in this incredible startup every day. I want to surround myself with a team, including investors, that challenges me and helps me make me better. I want to live my life transparently, and if being a happy, successful founder, CEO, mum, serves as a helpful example to anyone who wants to use me as such, great. Well, you're definitely a role model for me.
Thank you for saying that. That means a lot. You've already been down this path. That means a lot to me.
Yeah, I've been down this path, but I have to say I was much more driven. So I'm going to put my hand up for that. I wondered if you could just talk to me briefly about your past history with sourcing venture capital and how it's been for you as a woman in that.
Yeah, so well, I'll tell you this. So with Kiva, the nonprofit I started before ProFounder, it was really interesting because I got to interact with everyone as a donor in terms of the high net worth individuals that helped fund Kiva's operations. Or yes. I spoke with people as lenders. And really, I should have flipped that. First and foremost, everyone can be a lender, right? So that's how I interacted with everyone. And that lending relationship, I have a lot to say about that, how it promotes this connection of equality, this connection of dignity and respect. As a business partner, not that traditional sort of donor beneficiary power weirdness that can happen. So that's the first level. But then with a lot of folks in Silicon Valley that maybe did serve also as professional investors, maybe they're VCs. I often interacted with them as volunteers, through Kiva's board, or as advisors or donors to the organization, which again was a nonprofit. What was interesting about that experience, and I think feeds into how I've interacted with our funders now for ProFounder, which are a collection of more than 30 friends, family, community members, angels, some professional, venture capital. So basically, I interacted with people first and foremost, and throughout my career until ProFounder, as donors, right? And in a sort of charitably minded way, for them to contribute financially. And so the focus was about the social return, right? That's just what it's about. So I think that served me well, and it served Dana and I well in interacting with our investors, because we've sort of they've self-selected and we've chosen them. And we've said no to some very major funders because we didn't feel like there's a cultural fit.
Wow.
I mean, lots of money on the line there. We really want to include people who believe in the vision and who want the mission, of what we're trying to do, that they're committed to that. So when you look at our funders, I know your question was about what has it been like as a woman to interact, and I guess part of it is, I know I can speak about my specific experience. And I am a woman, so this will be at least one data point. How's that? And basically, I know that for me, the social part of it and the idea of the big picture change for the world that we want to cause, always front and center, and is always part of the story. By the way, and it's actually not a by the way, it's central. Yes, we don't want to be intellectually lazy about it and not have a robust, strong, scalable, profitable institution. And by the way, I find it funny that, coming in sort of a very non-traditional order of things, like doing nonprofits first and then doing a for-profit. I have to reiterate over and over again that no, I mean profitable. Even though Kiva at many points, and will be in the future, it was a sustainable organization. It's the same concept. It's just a different word, right? Profitable. It means cash. So, anyway, so I think that's been really helpful to us, and I think perhaps that's more of a natural fit as a woman leader. It feels very much like a natural fit to me to talk about the story, to talk about the point of all of this, and then get into the structure of the business and why it's a great business model, how we're going to, our revenue, how we're going to make money, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So our collection of funders now is awesome. We really wanted to prove that crowdfunding not only could be done, but that it has value above and beyond just actually getting the funding that you need. So we have true friends and family investors in our company right now, all the way up to our lead funder in the first round. And we've raised a total of $1.3 million so far. We're actually still wrapping up a bridge round, but in the lead round, a third of it was taken by Kapor Capital, and Mitch and Frida Kapor and Stephen DeBerry on their team. I mean, they are true advocates in so many ways for women entrepreneurs. I mean, Frida Klein, it's Frida Klein and Mitch Kapor, but we could do a whole interview just about her. She's a phenomenal woman, and her background is just incredible. So we felt really good about that fit.
Fantastic.
So I guess so far my experience has been, I think I'm still using the same values, the same framework, a lot of the same language that I've always used and always will use. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to fit the old stereotype. I'm not trying to fit anyone else's model per se. I'm just, Dana and I are trying to do what we want to do in the world. And I think naturally being two women who believe in the same things and believe in the same change that we want to see.
Yes.
It comes out as sort of, I think, the whole package, right? When you invest with us, when you partner with us in that way, and we really believe it's a partnership, we really engage our investors a lot. And they're ready for that, which is great. We're not just talking about here's the money that you'll get back. We're talking about here's the thing that we're going to go do together in the world. So
yes.
Does that answer your question?
Yes. No, that's great.
Okay.
And in the course of raising funds, did you because I really like that idea that you're focused on finding a great fit with an investor, and that's sort of a banner that I've been a baton that I've been waving around a lot, is that you really do have to find a good match with an investor. And I talk about like the chemistry between investors and founders. So in the course of trying to find those funders, did you come across any bias towards you or any challenges in being a woman approaching investors at all?
Well, it's so funny. I don't know if you can see the gears turning, but I'm trying to think of like what to quote anonymously. We almost at one point were like, oh my gosh, we need to start an anonymous blog about all the things that are happening. But we had, so let me screen here for what's appropriate. The short answer is yes, but it's funny. I generally believe that everyone's out there doing their best and doesn't have bad intentions. So if when people offend or step on, put their foot in their mouth or something, it's good. And I try to do this all the time. It's good to not be reactionary and, so offended that you just sort of fight back with something, but to use it as a chance to sort of get on the same page with someone and tell them what you believe and why perhaps you would see the world differently than they just did or something like that, right? Like, I think it takes a lot of people's time to just get angry, right? Stomp out and then cut things off. Like, if and when you can have an ongoing dialogue, like that's the thing, right? Keep the dialogue going, which is why I was so excited to actually have that conversation out in the world publicly with Paige, one of our investors. It was I love the dialogue itself is the thing. So yes, we've had some interesting struggles and interesting comments to us. We've been asked out. We have had, the flippant sort of comment here and there about being women. We've definitely been told. One funder who we ended up not working with, big surprise, definitely made a comment about how I feel bad. I feel like I don't want to be gossipy or bad talking about people, even though I'm being completely anonymous. We definitely had a funder make a comment about how he was worried, even though he wouldn't do this, he was worried about future funding conversations going down a different path and us being hit on by other funders. It was just such a strange sort of cop-out for concerns. So, but in general, it's a big wide world out there, and there are a lot of people, and even though you might not be sitting across the table from somebody who looks like you, is the same gender as you, I feel like I learn all the time from men who actually would themselves fit that old stereotype, funders or entrepreneurs or anyone else, and or teach me about how to, treat people the right way. So I absolutely have had mostly a positive experience. I guess I wish selfishly that there were more people, that I guess looked like me. Like I sometimes when I give lectures and stuff and I talk about both Kiva and ProFounder and entrepreneurship overall, I have a slide that is supposed to be funny. I'm not a comedian, but it's it's a picture of the Mad Men cast actually, and it's about men in suits. And I talk about how a lot of the traditional funding world doesn't look like me. Like, I'm not wearing a suit, I'm not a guy. What does that mean? And so, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to encounter more women. I think we, in about 70 plus, easily 70, if not a lot, if not more, meetings with investors, we actually only met with 2 who were women, as we were raising our seed and our bridge rounds. So it would have been nice to talk to more women, but we're gonna make that happen.